Yo, what up, guys? Hope you all are doing well. In today's video, I wanted to hit a quick workout for you guys, and I also wanted to talk about my views on fitness, because I feel like my views on fitness are different than most people's, and I don't really hear a lot about what I have to say about fitness. I don't hear a lot of other people saying it online, and I think what I'm about to say, I think we all kind of know and feel this deep down inside, but I feel like a lot of people are too afraid to admit it out of embarrassment, or people want to look tough or sound tough, but we're all human at the end of the day. So I wanted to get this video out there. So let's get right into it. All right, let's get into it. So in this video, we're going to be doing weighted squats. I'm going to go grab the dumbbell in a minute. And we're also going to be eating a grapefruit. So, yeah. Why? Because one, grapefruits are awesome. But two, I heard it helps make kratom stronger. And I've been taking kratom lately to help with my chronic pain. If you don't know what that is, you can look it up online. It's an herb that naturally helps with pain. And again, I've heard that grapefruit helps to make it stronger. So trying to stretch my money, because kratom these days is insanely expensive. I wish it was cheaper. I wish everything was cheaper. And that's actually what today's video is about, is the modern day economy and how it affects people's health and fitness, okay? Because we're all one. We're all one. You can't escape the collective. It doesn't matter who you are. We're all one, and the better your neighbors are doing, the better you'll be able to do. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the modern day economy and how it's affecting people's mental health, how it's affecting people's emotional health, and how it's affecting people's physical health. Okay, and not a lot of people talk about that these days. A lot of people just say, oh, it's your fault if you're fat. It's your fault if you have health issues. It's your fault if you're not fit enough. Just go to the gym. And I feel like that's borderline psychopathic advice. That's borderline abusive advice, because you don't know what the individual person has gone through. You don't know if that person was born into a poor or an abusive family, and they might have to spend 12 to 20 hours a day working just to stay afloat. Not everyone inherits land. Not everyone has a family business that gets passed down to them. Not everyone inherits money. Not everyone is born into a nice house. Some people are thrown out onto the street by their parents at the age of 16. You don't think that's going to affect your health? You don't think that's going to affect your fitness if you have to spend your whole day struggling just to find food? You know, some of these fitness influencers that are born into rich families, you can just kind of see who they are. They were born into nice families. They're able to spend all day calorie counting and buying all of these expensive organic foods, and that's great. I love seeing people live a good, abundant life. That's how we should be living. That's how everyone should be living. But the problem is this. A lot of stuff in today's economy is done for profit and not for human health. Like, food should be a basic universal human right. We shouldn't even have to be paying for food. See, these fruits have what's called a seed in them. And you take that seed and you plant it anywhere, and it just grows more food for free. You see these trees? This tree right here could be a fruit tree. Why is it in America that we have all these trees everywhere? But the problem is we have a lot of male trees, which is great. We need trees for oxygen, but we don't have enough female trees. The female tree is the one that produces the fruit. And that's what the problem is that Food just grows. We could have food growing everywhere. With the amount of tax money that the government is stealing from us, and yeah, I said it like it is, stealing. Why are they stealing it? Because they're not reinvesting it back into our well-being. How is it that you're taking 30% of the money out of people's paychecks every single week or 2 weeks or whatever it is? That should be enough to plant fruit everywhere. We should have free community gardens everywhere. It should be a basic universal human right. We shouldn't have to pay for food. And that's creating a lot of stress for people, is the fact that people have to grind and grind and grind and grind and grind. A lot of people have to work for pennies. And it's not always their fault. Like, people say, oh, just get a better job. It's not always easy to find a better job. A lot of times, whatever you're born into is what you just have to accept. Like, for example, if someone's born into a rich, loving family that's not abusing them, then yeah, maybe you're able to focus good during school because you're having your needs taken care of. Your parents are feeding you good, so you have energy to focus during school. Your parents are treating you good, so you're mentally clear and you're able to focus on your schoolwork. Your parents are loving and caring, and they're taking care of your needs, so you're able to focus on your schoolwork and get good grades. And then when it's time to go to college, your parents have money put aside. So you're able to go to college, you're able to get your nursing degree, or you're able to get your doctor's degree, and you get a good job. You're a nurse or you're a doctor, and now you're making good money. Not everyone's born into that position. Some people are born into families that are genuinely abusive to the point where they can't even focus during school because they can't. They're shell-shocked from what's going on at home. Their dad might be beating them every day, like brutally beating them. I love my parents, but sadly they were very abusive when I was growing up. And I'm not saying they were doing it intentionally. Maybe they thought they were doing the right thing. But there was one time my dad kept punching me in the head over and over and over again. And I was just a little kid. I was like 6 years old. He was like, bam, are you still crying now? And then I'd be like, wah! And he'd be like, bam, are you still crying now? That could have given me a concussion. That might have affected my brain's ability to focus during school. I decided to grab a weight because this was supposed to be a workout video as well. I wasn't just planning on ranting on the camera the entire time. We were gonna actually do a little bit of a workout as well. So I grabbed a weight. But yeah, that's the thing, is like, I didn't have control of the environment I was in growing up. Like I was just extremely abused. Like, my parents were making a decent amount of money. My dad was an engineer and my mom was a nurse. But I wasn't. They were always arguing, and then they got divorced. And you know how much fees the divorce lawyers cost. So my parents were wasting all their money doing all this other stuff. So they weren't feeding me enough food. I was literally starving growing up. I was like around 100 pounds during prom, and I didn't even make it to prom. I was actually hospitalized because I ended up getting an intestinal issue due to the food that I was eating. They were saying they might have had to do surgery on me. They said that the CT scan looked so bad. It was unlike anything they've ever seen before. So I was so severely abused and neglected growing up that I was literally hospitalized during my prom day because I had an intestinal issue that was so bad. They said it was unlike anything they've ever seen before on the CT scan. It was the worst pain ever. It was worse than anything most people have ever gone through in their entire life. And that's just one of many health issues I've had growing up. So sometimes the abuse can be so bad, it can physically affect your health, you know? And so it's not always just about, oh, go to the gym more, oh, if you just weren't lazy. It's not always about that. It's about the type of people you have in your life. And as a kid growing up, my family was severely abusive towards me, sadly, and I had no control over it. That's just the family that I was born into. And my sister would lie about me growing up, and my sister would always tell my mom different things. So, like, I didn't even get the normal joys of childhood. My sister had all these different boyfriends growing up, and I loved my sister. I always stood up for her. But when I got a girlfriend, I wasn't even allowed to date the girl that I really wanted. My sister lied to my mom and said, oh, she's the school whore. And my sister even lied to my mom and said, oh, he got her pregnant, even though I never got her pregnant. So my mom didn't even allow the girl over. And that girl's family actually made me a green juice. They had a Green Star juicer, which was one of the best juicers out at the time. So they actually fed me before. They fed me good food. They let me juice at their house. And that's what I'm saying is, I was isolated growing up. I wasn't even allowed to have certain friends. I was barely allowed to have people over. And so you're dealing with heartbreak because your sister is spreading rumors about your girlfriend. I never said anything bad about my sister and who she was dating to my parents. My sister was allowed to date whoever she wanted. My sister was lying to my parents about me and who I was as a person. So not only were they abusive just as they were, but it was even more abuse because my sister was lying to them, because my sister threatened to kill me when I was a kid. My sister literally said to me, she was like old enough to read and write, so she wasn't just joking. This wasn't just like a little kid saying something. We were older, but still kids. And she said to me, I want to murder you. And I'm like, why? That's horrifying. And I was looking her dead in the eyes as she said all this. So I knew that she was being serious. I could see it in her soul. She's like, I want to murder you. I'm like, why? That's horrible. She's like, you're stealing all the love from mother and father. That's why that they love you more than me. I don't get any of the love. And I'm like, I don't know how my sister could be so retarded, honestly, because I was severely abused by my mom and my dad growing up, to the point where I was literally starving during prom, all these different issues. And yeah, I was severely abused growing up. And whenever I would see my sister, I would always think to myself, poor thing, if I'm being abused and I live under the same roof as her, she's probably being abused too. So I'd have empathy and compassion for her and what she was going through. I don't know how her brain didn't have enough brain cells in it to realize we live under the same roof. We have the same parents. So if she's being severely abused, I'm probably being severely abused too. In fact, I was abused a lot worse than her because I was the man of the house. My dad would hit me a lot more than her. I was way more abused than her. Way more. According to my mom, I was just like my dad because I was the man of the house. My sister was the woman. She was the princess. You know, she wasn't hit as much. I'm not saying she wasn't abused. She was still severely abused. That's why she said she wanted to kill me, because she thought it was my fault somehow, because I was stealing all the love. That's what she thought. Retarded. I was being abused more than her, and she couldn't even recognize it. No empathy. My sister had no empathy for me growing up. She would always spread rumors about me. She would always lie about me. She tried to pin my parents against me by telling them I was doing all these horrible things that I wasn't even doing. So even at the age of 16, I wasn't even allowed to have the girl that I wanted. She wanted me back. We had a lot of sex, but eventually things broke off because my mom literally chased her out of the house. Or not out of the house. We were already leaving the house because I thought I could sense that my mom was going to come home soon. But my mom started driving home as I was leaving the house, and the girl I was hooking up with was in my car at the time. We were 16 years old. You know, a normal, healthy age to have a girlfriend. And again, because my sister was spreading rumors about her, saying that, oh, she's this horrible slut, and my brother got her pregnant. My mom hated this woman, even though her family literally let me make a green juice at their house. This was literally like the love of my life. And my mom just starts driving, literally tailgating me all the way back to this girl's house, because she sees me leaving the house. I'm driving my car, the girl's in the passenger seat. My mom sees what's going on. Instead of saying hi or whatever, I didn't know what to do. I was freaking out because, again, I've been abused my whole life. So I just started driving her home. And then my mom followed me all the way to her house, honking at me the whole time, the whole 10 miles. And then even as I'm pulling into this girl's driveway, my mom like blocks it off, and honks, doesn't even say hi, doesn't even smile, nothing. And the woman, I don't think the woman ever hit me up again after that. My mom literally chased us all the way to her house, was honking all angrily, never hung out with her again one-on-one after that. Or maybe we did a few times, but it was never the same. She never trusted me the same, because her family was super nice to me. So in her head, she's probably wondering, if my family's super nice to him, letting him make a green juice with their juicer and everything, why is his mom like that with me? But she didn't realize that what was going on, probably. She didn't realize how abusive my mom was. She didn't realize my sister was spreading rumors. She probably thought I had other girls I was seeing or something like that. And maybe she didn't know why my mom was acting like that. You know, so it's like things like that can affect your fitness. When you sustain severe emotional trauma, heartbreak can affect your hormones. If you're stressed, it can increase your cortisol, which can lower your testosterone. And that's the thing, is not everyone's born to this loving family where your parents are putting money aside for you, and your parents are talking good about you and instilling you with high self-esteem. And so then you're able to get good grades easily because you're able to focus. And then your parents save up money and send you to a nice college, and then you get a good degree, and now you're a doctor or a nurse. Some people are kicked out at the age of 12. Some people are kicked out at the age of 10. Some people are forced into the streets at a young age, and they have to spend all their time trying to survive that. And that's the problem with today's society, is we don't have enough resources for people that are struggling. Let's get back to that. Society and the economy and how it affects fitness. We don't have enough resources for people that are struggling. Fruit just grows from the earth. We should have free food everywhere. If we can grow regular trees like this everywhere, we should have community gardens everywhere. The whole earth could be one giant Garden of Eden. And then that's the other thing too, is that not everyone has time to go to the gym these days. The economy is so fucked up because there's so many greedy, selfish people that they only care about money, that a lot of these people are taking advantage of their employees. These people are taking home millions or billions for themselves while their employees starve. Their employees can barely afford rent. Their employees can barely afford food. And so just like my family kind of abused me growing up, a lot of people that are born into these abusive families, they go on into the workforce to be abused by their employer. Because that's the problem, is if you don't have a strong family that, you know, you're able to be born into a family business, or your family is saving for your college, you might have to just get some shitty job just to eat. Because like I said, there should be the Garden of Eden everywhere. There should be food and medicine growing everywhere, but that's not the society we live in. In today's world, a lot of people have to pay money for food. And so if your parents aren't feeding you enough and you develop all these health issues growing up like I did, now all of a sudden you get sent out into the workforce. You get sent out into the workforce, underdeveloped, you know, your health is shit, but now you got to work for your food, because if you don't, you'll starve and die. So you got to go to work while you have health issues, and you got to slave away. And a lot of times the CEOs of these companies abuse their employees. They barely pay them anything while they take home millions and millions and millions and millions and millions for themselves. And so that's the thing is, and then the government steals 30% of your paycheck. And instead of spending that on things like free food for everyone, like I said, we could literally live in the Garden of Eden. The government goes and steals some of your paycheck and uses the money for their own purposes. And then the medical industry is killing innocent people too. Why do you guys think cannabis is federally illegal? Why do you guys think mushrooms is federally illegal? Why do you guys think opium is federally illegal? Because they don't want you to grow your own medicine and make your own medicine. They want to have a monopoly over everything. And so you get your health insurance, Medicaid or whatever it is, and a lot of the treatment that Medicaid's willing to pay for is killing people. They'll pay, maybe your insurance might pay for some of your chemotherapy, but that a lot of times ends up killing people. There's people that have healed cancer naturally through things like juicing, exercise, rest. And a lot of times it's better to do it that way because chemotherapy kills a lot of people. Or they do some fucked up surgery where they cut out your organs and now you're missing an organ. They don't teach us about natural healing. They don't teach us how to make medicine with cannabis. Believe it or not, people have healed cancer with cannabis, a natural plant that grows from the earth. They don't teach us different juicing recipes so you can use your juicer at home to juice different fruits and vegetables to help heal your body. They don't teach us about how to use natural plants like magic mushrooms and opium to help heal depression. Believe it or not, I was doing research. Opium can actually be used for healing, but they're not going to tell you that because you could just grow it. Kratom can be used for healing, but they're not going to tell you that because you can just grow it. Mushrooms can be used for healing, but they're not going to tell you that because you can just grow it. They want a monopoly over everything. The medical industry wants a monopoly over everything. They want control over everything. They care more about profits than if innocent people are dying. And so that's what I'm saying is it's like the whole economy and the whole medical system, these people, they don't care about you. And so if you're surrounded by people that don't care if you're alive or dead, it's like an uphill battle because you're working 80 hours a week just to pay rent. And then you're working another 20 hours. So you're working 100 hours a week so you can afford food. And then you're working 140 hours a week so that you can buy medicine for your condition, whether it be pain medicine or cannabis. And all of this stuff could just be grown for free. It's a human right to have free medicine and food. With how much taxes is coming out of our paychecks, we shouldn't have to pay for food or medicine. The government is obviously stealing our money and using it for things it shouldn't be. Okay, you can look more into that on your own. And so it's like with how much people have to work these days just to stay afloat, let alone a lot of people are recovering from abuse in their family. It's not everyone's fault that they're not fit just because, oh, this person's too lazy. Not everyone has time to go to the gym. A lot of people have other responsibilities they have to take care of. Not everyone has time to sit in the sun all day and get all the vitamin D they need. Some people are stuck in a building 80 hours a week, slaving away for pennies. You don't think that affects your fitness? Do you guys know how important vitamin D is for fitness, for your bones, for your muscles? Almost every cell in your body needs vitamin D. And a lot of people are vitamin D deficient because they're forced to sit inside of a building just to make pennies, just to barely be able to afford rent. Shelter and food should be a basic universal human right. We shouldn't even have to pay for shelter and food with how much money is coming out of our paychecks. The government should be able to take care of that. Just like they build the roadways, they should be able to build shelter for people if they're taking that much money out of our paycheck. They should be able to grow community gardens everywhere. Why can't this be an apple tree? Why is there so many male trees in America, which is great because we need oxygen, but why don't we have more female trees as well? to go along with it, like apple trees, blueberry bushes, grape bushes. We could have cannabis growing everywhere. We could have opium growing everywhere, so the pain medicine could cost pennies. But no, it's illegal. That way they have a monopoly over it. Now only a doctor can prescribe pain medicine. So now they make money off of your insurance because they don't want you growing your own opium. They don't want you growing your own kratom. They want to make all the money for themselves. Even in the places where cannabis is legal, they still want to tax people for it. It's sickening. It's sickening how expensive healthcare is these days. And it barely does anything because a lot of the medicines that work are illegal. It's sickening how expensive food is these days, but how much it's sprayed with pesticides, how much artificial fertilizers are being used. It's sickening how hard people have to work these days just to barely get paid by their employer, while their employer sits on their ass and collects millions and billions. We need more respect for the working class, and we need more empathy for humanity, and we need to realize some of the best things in life truly are free. Food just grows from the earth. We shouldn't even have to pay for food. It should be like the Garden of Eden everywhere. Medicine just grows from the earth. We shouldn't have to pay for medicine. We should get free health care with how much taxes coming out of our paycheck. No plant should be illegal. Opium should be legalized. Cannabis should be legalized. Mushrooms should be legalized. You should be able to grow your own medicine at home and make anything you want, like whether it be a mushroom tincture or a cannabis tincture or an opium tincture if you need to help with your pain. You should be able to make your own medicine at home and not be worried that someone's going to take away your basic human rights and throw you behind bars because of it. And so I'm done. I used to be that guy that would blame people for being out of shape too. I'd be like, oh, these people are just lazy if they just worked harder. But I got hit with a whole bunch of health issues myself. And I was genuinely trying my hardest. One, because there's a lot of bad information out there. You're a kid, you're growing up, you're Googling how to get healthy. You see all this weird stuff about carnivore diet, and it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. And we don't have to eat dead animals to be healthy. You see all this weird stuff about urine therapy, and there's just all this bad health advice online, coupled with family abuse, coupled with economic distress. It's no wonder why people are having health issues. It's no wonder why people are out of shape. The people are so stressed they barely have time to get sunlight. So we need to stop blaming people for being unhealthy, because we're all supposed to be working together to create heaven on earth for one another. And a lot of people are working against each other in today's society. There's a lot of greedy people that all they care about is money. There's a lot of greedy people that all they care about is profits, and they're willing to lie and scam and cheat the system if it gets more money in their pocket. And that's affecting people's health. I don't care what anyone says. I'm not saying you can't be healthy in today's society. There's some people that are able to overcome it. Maybe they're born into really nice families, or maybe they were born into abusive families, but they have a strong spirit and will, and they're just able to overcome it. But you can't expect that for everyone. If a tree is suffering, do you tell it to work harder, or do you plant it in a better environment? If a plant is starting to die, do you just yell at it and tell it it's lazy and it's not working hard enough? Or do you put better fertilizer in the soil? Do you try to water it better? Do you try to get it more sunlight? And so that's what we have to do for our fellow humans and our children and our brothers and our sisters. We got to stop blaming each other for the hardships we're going through. And we got to start having empathy for one another. We got to start having compassion for one another. And we have to set up society in a way to where it's easy to be healthy. In today's society, it's like there's fast food on every corner. Organic food is sky high. Medicine is either illegal or unaffordable for a lot of people. And you wonder why people are unhealthy. Half of the time is not their fault. We got to stop blaming the individual. And we got to start realizing the way that society is set up as a whole, as a collective. And we got to rebuild the system from the ground up. We need a new system entirely, a system that focuses on human rights and that prioritizes human health and well-being over anything else. Over anything else. Because today's society prioritizes money over everything, and that's truly an evil way of doing things, because it gives psychopaths the hand up. The guy that's willing to cheat the system, the guy that's willing to do anything necessary, even if it means stepping over the heads of other people, that's the guy that gets rewarded in today's society. That's the guy that gets paid billions of dollars for underpaying their employees. That should be not allowed. That should be illegal. We have basic universal human rights, and we need to make society easier for everyone. Cheaper food, free food. Cheaper medicine, free medicine. Legalize the medicine that actually works. Cannabis has helped heal people. Legalize it. Opium helps people with pain. Legalize it. You shouldn't have to go to a doctor to get it prescribed, because the doctor might say no. I have severe chronic pain, and a lot of doctors haven't prescribed me anything yet because they think I'm just some young kid that wants to party. I have severe fucking health issues. I was abused my whole life growing up. I was starved growing up. I need pain medicine just to function at a basic level, and the doctors won't even prescribe it to me, so I've been paying for pain medicine out of pocket. Do you know how much money that costs? So legalize opium, legalize mushrooms, legalize everything. Allow people to grow their own medicine. Start growing free food gardens everywhere with how much money's coming out of people's paychecks. And we need to set up the system in a way so that it's easy to be healthy. And until that day, because we're meant to live in heaven on earth. We're meant to live in the Garden of Eden. That's what God intended for us. And until that day comes, I don't want to hear anyone blaming anyone for being out of shape. Like, oh, that person's just fat because they're lazy. How do you know that's why they're fat? How do you know it's not because their family abused them their whole life and they're struggling to afford organic food? And so they just try to buy the most amount of calories they can for the cheapest price possible. And that just ends up being junk food. And how do you know their cortisol isn't sky high from working 200 hours a week just to stay afloat? Even stress can raise a hormone called cortisol, which can actually tell your body to store more fat. So it's not always the person's fault. Sometimes it's just the environment they were born into. And like I said, if a plant is struggling, do you yell at the plant and tell it to work harder, or do you give it better soil? Do you plant it where there's more sunlight? Do you try to water it more? And so we need to redo the whole system and set it up in a way to where human health is prioritized as the number one thing above anything else. And until that day comes, I don't think anyone should be blamed for the position that they're in, because it's not always their fault. You don't know what family they were born into. You don't know what jobs they've had to work just to stay afloat because their family might not have been able to afford college for them. You don't know what abuse they've been through. And so we need to stop blaming the individual and realize we're all one. And anyone that's suffering is a reflection of us, because we're all supposed to be taking care of each other. And that's the society I want to see come forth to the future, is a society where food is a basic universal human right, where shelter is a basic universal human right, where everything is legal and medicine's a basic universal human right, and we're all working together to create heaven on earth. And that's God's world, and that's the world that we're supposed to live in, and that's the world that we should be striving to create. I know I only did a few squats throughout this entire video. Originally, I was gonna make this a workout video, but this has been more of a rant / philosophical talk. But I think this is very important, and this needs to get out there, because this does relate to fitness. This does relate to health. And I don't hear a lot of people touching on these subjects in the fitness community. A lot of the fitness industry is just one giant scam. People don't even talk about any of this stuff. And then they want you to buy their course where they tell you to eat chicken breast and white rice like every other fitness influencer, which, by the way, chicken breast isn't even that healthy. And white rice, I don't know. There's plenty of other foods besides white rice. Like, a lot of fitness influencers are just carbon copies of the next guy, and they don't touch on these deeper topics. In fact, they pretend like everything's okay. They'll gaslight you and tell you, oh, you're just lazy. If you just buy my $3,000 course, I'll help motivate you to become more fit. A lot of them will lie to you and say stuff like that. Like, oh, it's your fault that you're not fit. You're just not committed enough. Just invest $2,000 into my course and I'll help hold you accountable and help hold you committed. But they don't talk about the deeper issues that a lot of people are going through. There's a lot of people that are very committed, very hardworking, that are barely making ends meet because of the position they were born into and because of the way society is structured. And no amount of hard work will fix that. Yes, hard work can be great, but we also have to work smart. We also have to work together to create a system where it's easy for everyone to live. Because if it was easier for everyone to make a living, then people would have more energy to devote into their fitness. Then people would have more energy to devote into their craft. Society would evolve a lot quicker if food was a basic universal right and shelter was a basic universal human right, because all that time people are slaving away just to barely stay afloat. Imagine if people actually had free time to invent new things. Imagine how many inventors are just homeless on the street because they were born into the wrong family. There could be a lot of geniuses that could literally change the world with new inventions that don't even have time to think about that. A lot of people don't have time to work on creative projects. A lot of people don't have time to work on their passion because they're just stuck in survival mode. And there could be so many inventions that are yet to be invented that the homeless guy that's struggling to survive, he might have been able to invent if he had a better support system. If he had the tools and resources and the laboratory and the mechanic shop he needed to tinker with different things, he might have invented the new hydrogen-powered car engine that could run without fuel and save the entire planet from fossil fuels. You never know. You know what I mean? You never know. Donald Trump was just born into riches, and look, he's the president. So that's what I'm saying is when you're born into a good environment, you have more time to work on creativity. You have more time to work on your passion. And that's what we need more of in society. We need people that have more time to work on what they're actually passionate about. We need people that have more time to work on what they actually love and care about. And if we made food and shelter a basic universal human right, people would have more time to do things like that. And so people would have more time to invent new things. People would have more time to get creative and tinker with things. And then society would be able to evolve quicker. But because a lot of people are stuck in survival mode, it's like a hamster on a wheel. The person's just running and running and running and running, but nothing's really getting done and they're not really going anywhere. And we need to work together as a collective to create an environment where everyone has a fair shot, where everyone has a chance, where everything is and one way to do that, again, is by making food a basic universal human right. One way to do that is by making shelter a basic universal human right, so people have more free time to focus on their fitness, to focus on, you know, someone might be, there might be like 10 different inventors in this neighborhood right now that might be able to invent the next, like I said, solar powered car, but they're hydrogen powered car, whatever, but they're too busy just paying rent to live in one of these little buildings. So they don't have time to think about bigger projects. And that's the problem with society, is we have all these people working in these fast food chains. Fast food is killing us. We could be growing fruit everywhere. You see what I'm saying? We have a lot of people doing these useless menial jobs because they're afraid that they'll starve to death if they don't do it. So they feel pressured to do these useless menial jobs that's not actually benefiting society, that's not actually helping society. I would rather see someone sitting at home doing nothing because their food is paid for by the government and their shelter is paid for by the government than someone working at a fast food chain like McDonald's destroying the environment. I don't know if you guys know, but the Amazon rainforest is being cut down to make some of this fast food. They don't care. They just monocrop everything, spray everything with pesticides so they can produce the French fries for as cheaply as possible, so they can produce the hamburger for as cheaply as possible. So that's a problem. It's society values hard work, and people are almost glorified for being slaves. Like, oh, you worked really hard. I don't give a fuck about hard work. It's not about hard work. It's about enjoying life, and it's about making progress as a human species. And if we had more free time to work on what we loved, and if you truly love doing something, you'll never work a day in your life. And if people had more free time to work on what they love, who knows what new inventions might come out? Who knows what new things might come out? We need to give people a higher quality of life, because it gives people more time to work on what they're passionate about, and it benefits everyone. Like I said, there could be 10 different inventors in this neighborhood that might invent the new thing that could save humanity, but they might not have time because all they can think about is rent and the grocery bill. We need to free our minds from that by creating a system where those basic needs are taken care of. And that should already be happening. Look at how much money is being taken out of people's paychecks with taxes. With all the money the government is stealing from us, that should already be happening, but it's not. So that's proof that the government's robbing us. Because look at how much money they're taking from our paychecks, and look at what they're giving us in return. Nothing. So we need to make a stand, and we need to build a system that actually puts us, the people, first. And that's the message of today's video. And that's how that correlates into health and fitness. Because if we built a system that put us first, we'd have more time to take care of ourselves. Because we wouldn't be stuck in survival mode as much. So I hope that made sense. I felt like I had to talk about this. I felt like it was a very important topic I've just been thinking about it a lot lately. So I just felt like I had to get it off of my chest. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you for tuning in. Comment below. Let me know what you guys want to see more of next. Thank you so much for watching. I love and appreciate every single one of you. And until next one, stay wild, stay sexy. I'm out. Love and peace. I could keep going on about this topic forever, but I want to make this YouTube video a decent length. And I have a lot of other stuff I got to do today, such as working DoorDash. Because like I said, in today's society, a lot of people have to work a lot just to have money for basic necessities. And so I might have to get back to work soon. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I love and appreciate every single one of you. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to leave a like so that this video gets spread around. And I love every single one of you, and until next one, I'm out. Peace. Hit me up if you need anything. Shoot me a DM on Instagram, or shoot me a text or a call if you need coaching or anything like that. You know, fitness support, or if you just need a friend, or if you're a cute girl and you wanna, you think I'd be a good boyfriend, you can hit me up for that as well. Thank you guys for watching. I love all you guys. I hope you have an amazing day. Peace.